For me, middle school was the bomb. And I know that's not a very popular opinion, but it really was. Great teachers, great friends, great everything. I hate to admit it, but in 8th grade I almost came close to liking school. Crazy, right? Everything was perfect. My grades were pretty amazing, all A's, not a single B my entire time there. I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, an engineer, the same as my dad. And stress? Well, stress was non-existent. But everything changed when high school attacked. Classes got harder, life got harder, worse teachers, and pretty much worse everything. Some people say high school was the best years of their life. Well, not for me. I hate high school, with every fiber of my being. I am not just saying that to be dramatic. I mean, I am, but it's also true. Freshman year, I got really discouraged. I got 2 B's, the first B's I ever got since middle school, and sure, I knew it wasn't the end of the world, but it was pretty disappointing. I began to question everything I thought was already set. I didn't want to be an engineer anymore, and I had no idea what else I would be when I grew up, and it only got worse from there. Less sleep, less time to hang out with friends, less of everything that made life livable. Soon enough, school became my life. It was the only thing that mattered after all. Everyone around me seemed to be taking harder classes, getting better grades, and just got more and more miserable because of it. It felt like the more I studied for a test, the worse I did, no matter the amount of work I put in. I just couldn't get the grades I wanted. So I turned to video games. What was the point of working if there was nothing to be gained? Might as well have a bit of fun. I began to spend hours and hours upon hours playing video games, and soon enough it began to consume my life. And because of it, my grades got worse, more and more B's, fewer and fewer A's, skipped to junior year, a C, and a D. I decided to drop AP Chem second semester because of how poorly I was doing. I've always hated school, but with all these drastic changes in my life, I began to question the very concept of it, or at least the execution of it. Why are we learning things that we'll never use? And don't tell me that we will. Seriously, I'm going to need the exact date World War II ended, or how to make a quadratic equation, or how to make a calorimeter? And no offense, Miss Otto, am I really going to need to know how long Grendel's war with the Danes was? Unless I'm going into a field that uses these exact pieces of information, they're all completely useless to the general student population. And if your counter to all of this is, well, you're learning how to learn. Well, now you will not learn things that everyone can use, like cooking or doing taxes or writing a resume. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. What I'm trying to say is school, for me at least, is suffering. Not only did I find the majority of it pointless, but it was also just boring. However, there was one very important lesson that school taught me, and that lesson? How to tolerate pain. Not physical pain, obviously, but mental and emotional pain. I realized I can't just try escaping the pain by using video games to distract myself. That doesn't solve the source of the problem, it only postpones the pain. And adds on top of that the guilt and regret of how much time I could have spent doing other things. I realized that I needed to change my ways. Escaping from the pain wasn't helping, it was making it worse, and I needed to fix it. And I have begun to. I've been trying to control how much time I spend online versus how much time I spend doing productive things, like studying or whatever else that matters to me. And I haven't been completely successful so far, but I've been working on it, and this leads me to my personal mission statement. Instead of trying to avoid pain and the daily struggles of life through escapism, I will instead confront these struggles head-on and get to the root of the problem. I will try to find ways to solve the dilemma instead of avoiding it, and in the future, whenever I am met with a problem, I will address it and waste no time in trying to fix it. Thank you.